Rich Energy. In the eyes of F1 fans, it's up there with Facebook and the Weinstein Company as being one of the worst organisations on the planet. And you'd think perhaps given their venture with Haas in 2019 going about as well as Argentina's little holiday to the Falklands, that we'd never see the name enter Formula 1 again. However, fast forward to February 2021, and the rumours of the company re-entering the sport are hotter than ever. Thing is though, whether they enter F1 or not this season, they've already won, and in fact, you just clicking on this video is contributing to that even more. But for the sake of my watch hours, do stick this one out, as today I'm going to take you through how Rich Energy have pulled out the bag the biggest masterstroke since Alessio Delayed manager got him into Formula 2 for 2021. Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1, and over the last few years, Rich Energy have gone from the dark depths of irrelevancy to the farcical title sponsors of Haas, and then back to irrelevancy again. But in the last few months, they, alongside illustrious leader and genetically mutated broomstick William Story, have popped back up on the scene, with the latest rumours suggesting some form of sponsorship deal with Alfa Romeo. That is, if you decide to listen to anything that comes out of F1 Twitter. So today, I thought it could be a good idea to take a trip down the bumpy road otherwise known as Memory Lane, and take a look at Rich Energy's involvement in and around the world of motorsport. But before we do jump in, if you are new here and not yet subscribed, do consider joining the FP1 family, as I'll be sending out this sort of cursed content every single week. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if we could hit that, it would be absolutely amazing. And if you want to hear even more from me, you can drop me a follow over on Twitter. It's at FP1Will, and all links for that can be found in the description below. So sit back, grab a can of Red Bull, and enjoy as we look back at the past, present, and future of Rich Energy, and slowly realise that they've been the winners all along here. Going back to 2015, and Rich Energy Limited was set up by a man named William Story, and an anonymous Austrian scientist. I'm not even joking, that line is taken straight from the Wikipedia page. The creation of the oh-so-famous energy drink had supposedly been in the making since 2009. However, if you actually wanted to buy one of these things, well, good luck. You see, Rich Energy was supposedly only available in high-end bars and clubs, as this brand new organisation seemed to think that they could mix it up with the top brands straight out of the gate. And as you'll see, this ended up going about as well as F1 drivers' training camps to Dubai. What all this meant was that by the end of 2016, Rich Energy had amounted to the incredible profit of £103. Bruh. So Rich Energy, more like poor energy at this point. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to shoot myself in the head now. Now, if that amount of money doesn't already seem like a tiny amount, I made more in my first month after being monetized on YouTube. I mean, hey, maybe this means in a few years I'll take over an F1 team too, before subsequently driving into the ground faster than Nikita Mazepin's reputation. Anyway, getting back to the matter at hand, it quickly became clear that for some strange, unknown reason, whatever Rich Energy were doing wasn't working. So, rather than do the sensible thing and, I don't know, sell your product, Broomstick Man here turned his sights on Formula 1. Fast forward to 2018, and the Aston Jordan Force Martin Racing India Point team were struggling for cash, and many were worried that the constructor could fall off the grid before the end of the year. And this was when our boy Story jumped in, claiming he could save the team as well as the 400 jobs at risk at the Force India factory. You see, according to Story, the plan was to inject about $80 million into the team. Only problem was, this money was about as elusive as Lewis Hamilton's tax returns. Force India, thankfully, was smart enough to see through this, with them eventually agreeing to a takeover by Canadian billionaire Lawrence Stroll, which incredibly was the best of the three offers when you take a look at the other potential party. Back to Rich Energy though, and our man Story next aimed his sights at the struggling Williams team. Claire Williams was supposedly introduced to Story by Bernie Ecclestone, because of course, one of the most corrupt men in Formula 1 had to be a part of this, didn't he? Williams was supposed to meet with Story for dinner at the back end of the 2018 season. However, Story, being the professional and gentleman that he is, decided that he just wouldn't show up. There was even apparently a livery proposed, which Story tweeted about when Williams broke up with their old title sponsor Rocket at the beginning of 2020. However, whether this is real or not, I can't really confirm. Either way, with negotiations with the team as complete as Hamilton's 2021 Mercedes contract, Rich Energy would move on yet again, this time to American team Haas, who were also in desperate need of extra funding. Now, while Force India had the brain power to decline Rich Energy's offer, the boffins at Haas were, shall we say, a bit more intellectually challenged. To wrap up these negotiations in a nutshell, when Story said money, Haas said yes, without a moment's thought. And with that, the Rich Energy Haas Formula 1 team was born. A snazzy launch ceremony would show off the team's new black and gold livery, which, let's be honest, we all thought was pretty underwhelming after the concepts. That said, it's not the first time underwhelming and Haas have been used in the same sentence. Pre-season testing would then come around, and after Haas would place higher than Red Bull, Rich Energy would tweet out a whole load of rubbish about being the better energy drinks brand. Even though this was testing, you'd need to be either an idiot or William Story to realise that the running order means nothing. Yeah. That makes sense. Shockingly, Haas wouldn't be able to beat Red Bull in the first half of 2019. I bet none of you saw that one coming. The team's first half of the year would be filled with mistakes and missed opportunities. Then it came to the point where Rich Energy had to pay Haas for their name and brand being plastered all over the car. However, as it turned out, despite having this thing called a contract, Story either couldn't or didn't want to cough up the cash, and thus made the incredibly intelligent decision to cancel that contract. Over Twitter. The utter farce would continue as Rich Energy used their social media platform to constantly rip into Haas's on-track performance, citing that they'd been expected to beat Red Bull by this point. Now, I don't know what illegal substances Story keeps in his beard, but I want to know what he was on, because it must have been something strong if he thought that. But anyway, that's where all this ends, right? Well, not quite. Rich Energy's stag-shaped logo was the next thing to come under fire, after it emerged that it bared the striking resemblance to fellow company White Bikes. Turns out, taking a logo from Google Images and changing the colours don't make that logo yours. Who'd have guessed? In an attempt to salvage the organisation, the name was changed from Rich Energy to Lightning Volt, and Story would resign as supreme leader. This, however, wouldn't last long, as Story would somehow manage to weasel his way back into power and the name Rich Energy returned once again. After their ventures in Formula 1, the Rich Energy name would reappear in IndyCar for the 2019 Indy 500, while the company also sponsors OMG Racing in the British Superbike Championship and Pirelli National Superstock 1000 Championship. And all that brings us back to present day, where Rich Energy are supposedly screaming from the rooftops that they're coming back to Formula 1 for the 2021 season. But really, whether they do or not, it doesn't matter. And here's why. Coming into 2021, the Rich Energy F1 meme was well and truly dead. No one was talking about the brand anymore, and even less were buying its products. What the company needed was something that would propel them back to relevancy again. And what better than the thing that made them so infamous in the first place? To properly understand this, let's first go back to March 2020, and the Rich Energy products finally become available to buy on their website. The energy drink, which before this point was more scarce than the Nico Hulkenberg podium, was now easy to access off the web, as long as you didn't mind entering your credit card details onto their site. And this action led to a bunch of videos of people trying the energy drink for themselves, but this interaction was only going to last so long, especially given the general consensus that, well, it wasn't very good. Sorry, mate. Next, we need to fast forward to January 2021, when William Story and Rich Energy began to really push this idea that they had a deal arranged to get back into Formula 1. Yet again, everyone is talking about Rich Energy. Now, yes, the vast majority of this is with the same niceties that go with talking about the good old Nikita Mazepin here, but that doesn't matter. The company are irrelevant again. As far as Story is concerned, good or bad publicity, it doesn't really matter. It still gets people talking about the company. I mean, I've already fallen into the trap by making this video about it, and you, by watching it, are falling into that same trap as well. In all likelihood, this supposed deal with an F1 team will come to nothing, but if it does, then I'll be proven wrong in thinking a human could survive without a functioning brain. That said, if by some strange turn of events that Rich Energy are really back in Formula 1, I just want to direct you towards my interview with the man himself last year, where he says this very thing, along with, well, I'll just let it play. Firstly, how are you and how's your lockdown been?
I just have a can of the world's leading energy drink.
Bruh.
I say that I'm very, very sceptical about COVID-19.
Bruh.
I think the thing, quite frankly, is an absolute scam.
Bruh.
So you've had huge government propaganda.
Bruh.
And, I don't know what planet Lewis Hamilton lives on, but it's not planet Earth.
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
But those then are just my thoughts on this whole Rich Energy situation. If you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My Twitter is also in the description, as I said at the beginning, and there's also a link to the FP1 Discord if you want another place to interact with me. But that's all for me then. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next one.